Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of For the Love of Sports. My name is Michael Rasile. I got my man Ryan Vatti here today, and we are excited to chat about his brand new business, Wager Champs. Very excited for it. Ryan, how you doing today, man?
I'm great. Excited to be on the show. And today is the official launch day of Wager Champs. So just excited all around. How are you?
Hell yeah, man. I'm great. Thank you for asking. This is my favorite thing I get to do. So I appreciate you giving me a couple minutes so I can do it today. But yes, I was very excited when you and I chat last week, the week before. You told me this was the day to launch. I said, you probably got a bunch of shit going on, but I'd love to have you on launch day. Maybe we could get a little extra publicity for you. So I was able to go on, check out wagerchamps.com, if I'm not mistaken, earlier this morning. Got to play around with the site a little bit. So I'm very excited to get to chat with you. Ryan is also a graduate of Arizona State University. They've got a reputation, let's say, if I may. And I appreciate you doing what you're doing now. It's a cool place. I actually lived in Chandler for a couple of minutes, which is for anybody out there listening, is like 10 minutes away from Tempe. Got on was it the 404 maybe? The 101? I can't remember the loops anymore, but it was a lot of fun when I was out there. Ryan, first question I have for everybody on the For the Love of Sports podcast is, why do you love sports so much?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Thanks.
I've been playing sports since I was 5 or 6 years old. So it's just been a huge part of my life for as long as I can remember. And I guess the reason I love sports so much is truly anything can happen. There's no script, there's no plan on any given day, whether you're playing or you're watching, you don't know what's about to happen. And that sort of unpredictability gives you an unmatched experience, emotion, passion, excitement. And there's just not many things in today's world still like that. So
It is true, man. The only live thing you need to watch now is essentially sports at this point, right? Game of Thrones is over. I don't really watch that much TV anyway, so it never really did anything for me. But I mean, after live sports, it's just non-scripted reality TV show, right? And that's why we love it so much. And excited to get to chat with you a little bit about Wager Champs. Before we dive into that, though, where did your love of sports betting come from? And I guess when did you start to kind of go down that path of, maybe putting a couple shekels on a few games, playing with spreads a little bit and see if you can make a couple dollars?
yeah, so I was never a huge sports bettor. I played fantasy sports a lot, and I had a lot of friends that were into sports betting, and I liked talking about them with the odds and the lines, the spreads. I liked watching SVP's bad beats because even though I wasn't betting money myself, it was just a fun thing to watch. And what I realized based on that, and just watching some of my other friends that didn't bet on sports but still love sports and like to engage with sports betting content, was that there's a huge market for a risk-free sports betting experience as long as it provides that social and competitive element that fantasy sports provides. So that's kind of where the idea came from.
I love it. I think it is awesome because one thing that we've found, and I've spoken to a few people in the industry, I kind of dabble in the sports betting industry as well. And most people, we kind of know we're not getting rich doing this, right? We're not Vegas Dave or one of those, touts. We're not putting, $100,000 on these games. We're putting $10, $20, $25, right? If we're getting a little frisky with it. And all right, so you win some, you lose some, as long as there's still money in your account and you can keep betting. That's the goal. So I do think the risk-free opportunity there is pretty cool because most people really just use sports betting as extra added entertainment, right? I hate the Philadelphia Eagles, but I had the Eagles plus 6.5. So them getting that last second touchdown and then that 2-point conversion, hey, I won my $10 bet, So it's that extra added engagement that's going to keep me up watching the games a little bit longer. A lot of college basketball been on recently, haven't been on really a hot streak there, unfortunately, but it is always an absolute blast. So you say you engage with it, you talk to your friends about sports betting and that type of content. Where did where was the aha moment of, hey, well, what if we created a platform where it's a legitimate sports book? We just use fantasy dollars, as you guys like to say. Where was that moment of saying, maybe there's a legitimate business opportunity here?
Yeah, so I had a couple friends that were sports betting, as I've said, and they were losing a lot of money. And both of them at one point had quit, but they still downloaded the Action Network app and
Yep.
were tracking their picks on Action Network and then sending them to each other and competing with each other and talking trash. And I realized that this could be a business. Like, why isn't there a website where you can compete against your friends with sports betting
Hmm.
and compete against other people? So I was on an airplane one day, and nothing to do, and I kind of just started sketching out the idea on a napkin on the airplane. And that vision I had right there, after talking to some like potential customers, doing some market research, I realized that it was a good idea. It was doable, and I got to work and started building it. And here we are today.
I love it, man. I think it is. And again, there's, we'll get into it in a little bit, but the business opportunities, people out there listening might not think, like, well, why would I want to do that? But there's so much potential revenue and growth in the future for you guys with partnerships and other things that I think it is pretty darn cool. So I think it's, kudos and congratulations to what you got rocking, man. I think it is awesome. And shout out, do you know where that flight was to and from by any curiosity?
I don't remember, probably from Phoenix, Connecticut, where I live. So
That makes sense. I've gone Newark to Phoenix a few times. As I said, I
okay.
lived out there. It's not that bad of a flight.
No,
Not too bad. You can get a good movie and a half in, which is always cool. So I guess, from that point, as you said, you sketched it out on a napkin. What's the undertaking like? What is it like making, like, I don't want to say fake, but I like the fantasy aspect, like a fantasy sports betting website, fantasy sports betting business. What's that process look like? How long did it take you to get from sketching that out on a napkin to here we are today, the launch day of Wager Champs?
yeah. So the first thing I had to do after I kind of refined my idea a little more by talking to potential customers and doing some market research to figure out what people would actually want to play, I made a full list of every single thing I needed on the website for it to work. I drew a design using some wireframing site, and then I went about trying to find a developer. I ended up hiring an offshore team with the little bit of savings money I had, and from there, I've just been having to monitor it every single day pretty much for the last 4 or 5 months, just making sure everything was on track, just testing the different features. Last month, I started testing it with a live testing group, and everything went really well. And now it's time to start bringing some customers on, doing some marketing, some PR. So that's the big step right now.
Yes, PR, you're doing something right now. So look at that. And you're part of a PR firm, if I'm not mistaken. That's kind of your job. So
Yeah.
you know what you're doing. So I'm very confident that you're going to get out there. So do appreciate that. Appreciate everyone in the chat as well. Exquisitive, thanks for coming in, man. Thank you so much. Love when the chat has questions. So if anybody has questions for us, just ask away, man. I'm sure Ryan would love to answer them for you.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit. I guess how do you make money in a like actually let's take a step back. We'll get to the money question in a second. What's the value proposition? Why should someone go to wagerchamps.com right now, create an account, and start betting with fantasy money? What do they get out of it other than like, hey, I would have made money if I bet on this, right?
Yeah. Just because it's a lot of fun. It's the same value proposition that playing fantasy football has. It's just a social, competitive, and risk-free way to experience sports betting. So you can go in, you can create a league with your friends, join a league with your friends, and compete against them. You can decide on your own buy-ins, so there's no one forcing you to put in X amount of money. If you want to have a $10 league with your friends, you can have a $10 league with your friends. And if you want to have a free league with your friends, you can have a free league with your friends. So that flexibility and freedom that allows you to have that social experience is really big. And then our first contest, we also have some prizes. So it's a month-long contest that's spanning the entire month of December. Our prizes are going to start small. So this month, it's going to be the winner will receive a free sports jersey, custom sports jersey. And then we also have a $100 cash prize pool for the top 5 finishers. So we do have some prizes, and they're going to keep growing as we grow and get some more users. But it's going to be just a lot of fun.
I
So that's
love that, man. I mean, a free custom jersey, that's not a small prize. Like, Pete,
yeah,
that's solid money, man. I like that. You're investing in yourself, you're investing in your business. I think that is pretty darn sweet. So kudos and congratulations to you there. So now I'll ask, okay, so we have some users on the site. We have people betting. I put in some of my picks already. Might have taken a couple money line dogs just because, hey, that's how you win, right? That's how you win. Or at least that's how you win big. It's also how you lose. So don't take all my advice, everybody. But how do you make money at this point, right? And it's you're small, just started today. You're already obviously reaching out to some companies, maybe about those custom jerseys. I don't know, but you talk to me. Where is the revenue coming in, especially in the beginning, to make sure that this thing, the tech stays up to date? I know you have a sports book partner, right? So it's a legitimate sports book. You have all the odds, you have everything that you could have. You're
Right.
just not using the real money. So I'm assuming you have to pay for that, right? I don't think they're just giving away their stuff for free. So how are you guys making money?
Yeah. So actually, the odds aren't as expensive as you would think, but right now, our number one priority is traction and to bring on as many customers as possible. Because I think you mentioned it when we were first talking on the phone, but the free to play industry is rapidly growing right now. And if a free to play site has enough users and of has a good enough
Hmm.
game that ties in well to what a sportsbook wants to do, then sportsbooks would pretty much be dying to partner with that free to play game. So our number one priority is to get as many users as possible and to create the best game as possible. And then from there, I think the monetization will take care of itself with partnerships and sponsorships. Until we get to that point, we're going to start putting on some, smaller ads as long as they don't ruin the user experience, which
Hmm.
I'm very confident we're going to do in a way that it won't. And we're going to do some affiliate marketing for sports books and daily fantasy sports providers. But yeah, right now we just are focused on growing that user base.
That's exactly what you have to do. The affiliate market, it's super hot, but as you said, and we spoke about it on the phone, and I think that's why I love the idea of what you're doing so much is it's, the to get people used to sports betting, right? We know it's going to become legal. I think we're up to 20 something states right now, some of which have mobile. I'm here in New Jersey, so I'm placing bets every day. We have a group chat, me and my friends. My phone's broken, so I can't receive any of the messages, but we're still betting every single day on this, that, and the other thing. So I think getting people used to it and understanding kind of how it works is going to be very, very impactful for the industry, because if you can go into states that don't have sports betting already, acquire a bunch of users, get people used to it, and then, as you said, then there's the affiliate on top of it, or even heck, I'll cross my fingers for you, Ryan. I hope you get bought out and acquired by one of these guys at some point. That would be absolutely fantastic. And then that way you're able to just keep doing your thing, make a bunch of money, and continue to build this business. So I think the affiliate revenue aspect of it is going to help a lot in the beginning, and then towards once sports betting becomes even more widespread than it already is, and we're seeing that, again, no one hoped for the pandemic, but that is actually helping sports betting in a way because of this, the revenue states can get from it. I think that is pretty darn cool, man. So I think, kudos and congratulations to you. Is that something you kind of saw, or is that something that you figured out along the way of building this business?
Yeah, so it was actually something I more figured out along the way. My original idea was to have a small subscription fee to allow people to play the various games. But the further I got along into that, at first, the people I was interviewing were like, "Oh yeah, I'll pay a subscription fee." But once I started talking to people that didn't want to or that didn't care about hurting my feelings, I realized that nobody's going to pay a subscription fee for
Hmm.
a game like or a free what should be a free game when there's so many free options out there. And I started doing a lot more research on how to monetize it, and I figured out how big the free to play industry is right now. And if you look at it in Europe, there's free to play games that are having a huge impact on the sports betting industry and that are making a ton of money just because they're partnering with European sports books and
Hmm.
giving people a chance to see what sports betting is like. And then the sports books are like, hey, we'll partner with you to get our brand out there, to get our name out there. And they're just making a ton of money off that.
Hell yeah. Well, hopefully, Ryan, you're going to be making a ton of money soon. As I said, obviously the affiliate revenue side of it is pretty great. And that's where a significant amount, you brought up the Action Network. I have some friends over there. There's some good people at the Action Network. I actually interviewed Ari Barud. So definitely anybody listening, go back, check that out. See how the Action Network makes a boatload of money. And most of it is through those affiliate deals and those partnerships. So obviously, I think that there's huge, huge opportunity for you there. Are you worried at all about the underage aspect of this? I mean, obviously it's you're not using real money, so it's totally legal. It's totally fine. You have nothing to worry about. But is there any side of you that, you're starting to kind of realize that the legal ramifications of something like this could potentially not be the best on that bottom line?
Yeah. So because our site is 18 plus
Okay.
and in order to win prizes, we verify that you are 18 plus. So there's not really a point in playing it if you're not 18 yet.
Mhm.
So I'm not too worried about it from that standpoint. And then you mentioned the legal ramifications, and obviously it's a very complex industry with a lot of different laws and regulations. But because we're completely free to play, we have been able to not have to worry about that quite as much. Obviously, I consulted with a lawyer, and
Mhm.
we have terms and conditions. We are legal compliance approval, so we have the legal part pretty much taken care of right now. I'm not too worried about that.
Happy to hear that, man. Just wanted to make sure for anybody out there listening, they know Ryan's got his stuff on lock. So you've been live for a couple hours now. What have you seen? Like, have you gotten any feedback? Have outside of your friends and family that signed up, have you seen anything out of the ordinary, something that you didn't expect to see so far, or has everything kind of been as expected so far in the first few hours?
Um, not quite yet. I sent out the press release maybe 45 minutes ago,
Oh
and
shoot, there we go.
scheduled a bunch of emails to various reporters at the same time. I scheduled a few social media posts for this morning. I don't know if they went out yet. I think they probably went out while I'm talking right now. And my email to my pre-launch subscribers is also going out pretty soon. So hopefully we should start seeing something within the next few hours. Definitely within the next couple days. I'm hoping to really grow that user base, and then hopefully it spreads a little bit by word of mouth. People love it so much they're telling their friends about it.
I like that, man. Yeah, a lot of do a lot of PR, get on a lot of these opportunities because again, I think you have something here that could be huge or will be huge, especially if you continue to crush it. So one thing that I personally love are player props. I think they're so much fun. It's kind of and I've heard it described, so I'm going to use it. They're that midway point of fantasy football and betting, right? I'm still just rooting for that one player to get 3 catches or, 55 yards or that one touchdown. And I couldn't really not care less about the rest of the game, but I'm engaged in that game because of that one player, those two players. And obviously, we've seen fantasy football do that. Is that something that you guys are going to be paying attention to a lot in the future? Because I think that is, while betting is awesome and it's great, I'm terrible at picking spreads sometimes. Sometimes I go 0 for 5, right? Sometimes I go 5-0, but sometimes I go 0 for 5. So is that something that you guys are going to be paying attention to and working with that book to make sure that you're going to have these player props on the site as well to allow people to say, hey, if I think someone can get more than 35 yards, why not let them bet on it?
Yeah, so the good news for you is we actually have player props already in for NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL, and we have the full list of player props for every single game. So that's already on the site. It's already
Let's
able to be
go.
bet on, and we're going to keep adding more sports to that props list as we go. But yeah, during our live testing, prop betting was one of our most popular features. People love making props, so I'm really glad we're able to offer that right off the bat.
I love that. And you guys, I saw when I was placing my first few picks this morning, you have a little question at the bottom. You want to make it a parlay? Of course, the answer is yes. I always want to make it a parlay.
Exactly.
That's where the fun comes in, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Having that parlay functionality is also really huge. Again, in the live testers love parlays. It's usually not the best strategy to win in the long term, but it's a lot of fun. So
Unless it's soccer. What I found is if you could just throw a 5 leg parlay in on soccer, get the odds to like plus 300, you almost win every time. Or at least that's
there
what
you
I
go.
found out. But I've been very grateful. I know some really good soccer bettors, so it's been working for me. But it is fun, and I mean that's the thing, right? It's as much as sports betting is growing, it's the social aspect of it as well that you were talking about. And parlays, for whatever reason, everybody wants to have that 8-team parlay that they put the dollar on that turns $1 into 500, right? So that's always the really fun part of doing that. And I think it's really smart that you guys were able to have that function. And then prop bets as well. Prop bets are it's fun. People aren't blowing their bankroll on prop bets. Some people are, but most people are just going to do that. They'll put like 5, 10, 15 in on a Sunday afternoon and kind of just root for some stuff. And if you break even, at least you had some fun doing it, right? So I think what you guys got going, I think is absolutely fantastic. What are, outside of the business aspects, right? As you explain, a lot of affiliate deals coming through, which is awesome. Going to be, hopefully partnering with some media companies, some sponsors, some ad revenue, yada, yada, yada. What are some of the evolutions that you see in just the product coming down the pipe? Again, it's only been live here for, a couple hours at this point. What are some of the things that you're looking to do in terms of evolving the product and making it even more inclusive and getting more and more of those users to engage with the app?
Yeah. So first of all, right now we have a web app and it's mobily optimized, so you can go and play on your phone and it'll still work really well. But one of our biggest priorities now is going to be to get a mobile app in the Apple and Google Play stores. So that will just make it a lot easier for it to spread. It's hard to go viral um, when it's not in the App Store yet. So that's one of our goals. And then we also have a few different game modes that we're going to add, a few different fun things that will just make it even more engaging. We have 2 or 3 game modes listed out that are going to be our next priorities to add. There's one of them that I'm really excited about that hopefully we're going to be announcing soon. And I think it could be a way to get a lot more users. So
I love that, man. Yeah, you gotta obviously you gotta keep evolving, keep doing some cool stuff. That's why I like to ask that question because I think it's pretty important. And so you talked about it already. You already have, you're gonna have that newsletter that's gonna be going out. Is that a weekly thing? Is that a daily thing? Are you gonna be breaking down any of these games? Because I mean, again, looking at the Action Network, it sounds like you guys, while they're more tech based and media based, and you have the tech based aspect of it as well as, a fantasy sports book. Really love that term, by the way. What what else? Like, are you going to be looking into the media opportunities, breaking down games? That way you can get people more engaged and more involved in utilizing the product?
yeah, I'd love to get more content going on the site and through the newsletter. Right now, since it's on the I have a CTO that's handling the development from here on out.
Hmm.
But other than that, it's kind of a one man show on the marketing side for me right now. So, and I have a full time job, so I'm not able to devote as much time as I want to content. I'm putting out about a blog a week and a couple emails a week. So right now, that's how it is. But I'm going to try to expand that as much as I can. Whenever there's a big game, maybe shoot an email in the morning, breaking it down a little bit, reminding people to get their picks in, things like that. But yeah, eventually down the road, I'd love to expand into a lot more content, maybe some video content as well, breaking down these games, giving people advice and tips.
I love it, man. Yeah, you got to get the word out there some way, shape, or form. If you could do a good job at breaking down those games, get people on the app. That's how you end up making money and people have some fun. So I love it, man. Ryan, this has been absolutely fantastic. Give me everything. Give me the website, the socials, where we can find up the newsletter. Give me all that stuff so everybody knows about it.
Yeah, so we're just Wager Champs on all our social media. Instagram, we have Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. So give us a follow there. And then www.wagerchamps.com. You can go make your bets right now, compete for prizes, join leagues, create leagues, invite your friends. You can do it all right now.
I love it. I placed all my bets already. I think I have Ravens plus 10.5. So appreciate you
All
giving
right.
me
Good
that
luck.
extra. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It was kind of off the cuff. So,
Yeah. What
uh,
would be your jersey choice if you win? What's your custom jersey that you want?
uh, that's a good one. I already have a Saquon jersey.
Okay.
I already have a David Wright jersey. So I don't know. It'd probably be Mets. Maybe just a Steve Cohen jersey. Just give me a Mets Steve
Okay.
Cohen jersey. He bought the Mets, put 14 billion on the back of it. I don't know how many zeros you can fit on a custom jersey, but if you can give me that, I think I'd be pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I'm sure we can figure it out. I hope you win. Let's do it.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Thank you so much. Gonna screw up your last name, Vatti?
Vatti. Close enough.
Vatti. No, it's Ryan Vatti, founder of Wager Champs. Appreciate the hell out of your time today, man.
Thank you so much. Really
All right.
appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.